K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey everybody, you can see me tonight and I can see all of you wonderful people. It's great to be back on the Four Bros radio show. New episode here. It's Monday after probably the greatest football weekend in my life. I will not even lie about that. And not just and I'm not just talking playoffs, guys. I'm not just talking playoff weekend. It was probably the greatest weekend of football in my lifetime, period. It was pretty awesome. It was an awesome weekend for football. That's for sure. Let's go around and introduce everybody. Of course, I'm J-Mac, the bearded one, here with you tonight. And I'm joined tonight by Sarge. Sarge, how's it going tonight, man?
Man, everything it's going pretty well. Just calming down from the NFL weekend, and it was also a good weekend out in the open water as well. So it was good.
All right, and then we got the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Chris P. Bacon. Hey, brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much. It was a good week of NFL football, and a lot of games came down to a kick. So, it was a good weekend.
Yes, for sure. And then below him, we've seen him a lot on the network here recently. Mess around, Dave. What's going on, man? You're becoming the celebrity of coast to coast.
Yeah. That's what I do. It's a triple threat today. This is third one for me today. I'm gonna need a long nap after this.
Would have been four if you had done your regular show today, huh?
Well, like I said on the sports compound, I was gonna do it, but there wasn't a lot of info about the Bears search and stuff like that. And then, right after I decided not to, an hour later, news drops about the Bears. I'm like, oh my god, I could have done the show.
Oh, what was the Bears news? I missed that.
What was it?
I didn't see the Bears news. What was it?
They named some finalists for the head coach position.
Okay. Same thing the Vikings are doing. Okay.
Leslie Frazier wasn't one of them.
Thank God.
Unfortunately. And then of course we got Double Dirty Big B because it's dark 30 and it gets a little dirty sometimes.
It does.
What is going on?
A great football weekend. The 4 games were amazing. And if we got time a little bit later, I got to give props to a certain somebody. So we'll save that for later, though, if we got time.
All right. Well, we're going to start out a little different tonight. Usually we hey, Suzanne, thanks for watching. We see you there in the comments.
What's up, Mama Barber?
And we'll start a little different tonight. Usually we go into the NFL, but I want to start with something different. I want to start with what should be the headlines on everybody's thing when it's tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific time, which this is going to be the first time. I don't know why they do this on a Tuesday. I don't know why they're doing it on a Tuesday. I'll actually be home for this tomorrow, which is kind of crazy. But tomorrow we'll find out who is going to make it, if anybody, into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame tomorrow. I was watching a lot about this today, and there's a lot of talk about who's going to make it and who's not, and reasons why. Big B, you're probably the biggest baseball guy here, other than myself. In this group, right?
Yep.
Maybe Sarge. Maybe Sarge can be on our level.
I don't know. I got the weight on you guys, so
Oh. Yeah, I mean, in that regard, you're not wrong. You would be the biggest baseball fan in here. But so, Big B, I got to ask:
Yeah.
Do you think anybody gets elected to the Hall of Fame tomorrow?
From the reports I've seen, and I think somebody posted in our chat, I think they said that like 50% of the ballots have been turned in already and counted. And right now it looks like Ortiz leads the pack, and then followed by Bonds and Clemens, I believe, with Rowland right behind them. So I think for sure Ortiz gets in. The other two, I mean, with 50 ballots still to be counted, I mean, it's kind of like the presidential race. I mean, those numbers could change really quick. So I think Ortiz is for sure in.
They definitely. I mean, they could go one way or the other. That's for sure. That's always the thing about that. On that,
I was surprised to see Kurt Schilling had 60% of the vote. Still, I thought for sure he would have not gotten any.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they're doing it despite what Kurt Schilling wanted, because Kurt Schilling wanted to be off the ballot.
Oh, exactly.
But I think the voters would. I hate the Baseball Hall of Fame voters.
Yep.
They're just doing it out of spite. That's all.
Well,
Yep.
you know, I heard. So I used to say that too, Sarge, and I heard something interesting today. I watched the Major League Network today, and they actually went and talked to. Did you know that the Baseball Hall of Fame president just changed hands 4 months ago? He just got put in the position 4 months ago, the guy that's running the Hall of Fame right now. And he's brought a whole new outlook to this. And I think this is why Bonds and Clemens have a higher percentage this year than they've gotten in years past. It's because this guy brought in a whole new look into outlook on what you should vote for, what makes you a Hall of Famer. So mess around. You have anything about Major League Hall of Fame? Who's going to make it? Who's not? Maybe.
I agree with Big B. I think it's going to be Ortiz, and I think that Bonds is going to get it too.
Yeah.
But I said it on the compound earlier. If you're gonna, before you put any of these guys in, you have to put Rose in.
Yes.
You got to get Rose in before you get those guys in. If you're gonna let those guys in, there's no way Rose should be left out.
Yeah. I mean, it's time, isn't it? It's time, isn't it? Time. You're talking about a guy who, by the way, has almost 4,300 hits, 4,300 in his career.
Oh, wow.
I think only Ichiro Suzuki between two leagues has about that many. Like, there's no one that's come close to him, and you're telling me he's not in the Hall of Fame yet? The top guy.
I thought Suzuki's numbers was closer to 7.
I mean, I'm saying between two leagues, yes. He had 3,000 hits in each league, I believe, or something like that. But I'm just saying, you got to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of people don't like Pete Rose, but they played a clip of him on the Major League Baseball Network a couple of years ago, and he was talking about hitting. If anyone knows what clip I'm talking about, he said that there's one thing that you never change when you're a Major League Baseball player. Do you know what that one thing is?
Batting? I don't know.
You should never change your swing, ever. Never the way you swing at the ball. Because that's what got you to the big leagues. That's what got you your job. You should never change that. But he said, so if they're pitching you inside, take a step back. If they're pitching you outside, take a step towards the plate. If you're pulling the ball, you're swinging too soon, step back in the box towards the back and wait on it a little more. And if you're swinging too late and that's how you're striking out, take a step forward and get up on the ball. Like, he gave everyone that advice. That's how you get out of a slump. You just make an adjustment in the batter's box, but don't change how you swing at the ball, because that's what got you to where you are.
Makes sense.
I mean, how else do you describe it? You're talking about a guy. Again, who else would know more than Pete Rose on how to hit the ball?
Tony Gwynn?
Yeah.
I mean, make a good point. Tony Gwynn would be one of those guys, but I guarantee you he never changed his
don't
swing.
get me wrong. I'd listen to Pete Rose if he was giving me tips. I'm not going to push him away, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. All right. So we're going to go around the room real quick. I got a debate
Yeah.
question for all of you, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want real quick. I think everyone did their pick, so we're all saying David Ortiz. Sarge, are you on that? That too. Ortiz gets in tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he'll get in tomorrow with Bonds.
Yeah,
Chris,
I think so.
Chris, yeah, okay, and I think Ortiz gets in as well. Now I have a debate question, and randomly, let's start with mess around and let's go mess around, Big B, Chris, and then Sarge. We'll get to clean it up at the end. So are y'all ready? You're going to get 1 minute to make your point. After 1 minute, your time will be up, and we'll move on to the next guy. I'll decide who had the most compelling argument in the end, and we'll go from there. So are y'all ready for this?
God, I don't want to go first.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So mess around. The question is, baseball is a game built on tradition. So if you look at a career like Barry Bonds, from his rookie year to 1997, no one in that time had more combined home runs and stolen bases. So he was already on track to make the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start using steroids supposedly until 2000 or 2001. Knowing those numbers, does that make him a Hall of Famer even with the steroid use?
I mean, yeah, sure. I said it earlier on Sarge's show. Like, taking PEDs, getting jacked up, getting big is not going to help you hit the ball. You still have to have the hand-eye coordination. And he had that before he started taking steroids. So I definitely think he's a Hall of Famer regardless, PEDs or not. The guy put up great numbers. He's most home runs ever. So until A-Rod broke it. So I think you definitely have to put him in the Hall of Fame.
All right. Okay, Big B, whenever you're ready.
I mean, yeah, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you look at his stats outside of the year that he hit 74 or 73 home runs and the year he hit 5 due to injury. I mean, he still was around, 30 to 40 home runs every year, if not 45. So I think his average was 41 for his whole career. And, in the late 2000s, towards the end of his career, he was one of the most feared hitters. I mean, he led the leagues in walks, intentional walks, hit batters. I mean, so, yeah, I definitely would vote Bonds in. He should have been in already. So,
Okay. Chris.
All right, I'm ready. All right, so
Whenever
yeah,
you're ready.
I'm ready. No, I think you should get in. I don't think it should matter, at least to me, that if you did, something, the baseball league or any kind of sporting league, said, was banned. I think he did something that wasn't feasible back then, and he was the first person to do that or exceeded that. So I think you should get in, and I think it's long overdue that he's not. But I don't, I'm not into baseball, voting, for a Hall of Famer. So I don't know. I think he should get in.
All right. Sarge, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, he should have been in before that because he's already won 3 MVPs before all this has happened with that. On top of being walked, in the 90s, he led the league in walks on multiple times, like 6 or 7 times.
Yep.
And I know in the 2000s, I forget who it was against, but who has ever been intentionally walked with bases loaded? Also, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, if that happens, he should just get a walk into the MVP because the Hall of Fame should be done what you've done inside the sport. Nothing outside of the sport should be taken in part. That's what the problem with the Baseball Hall of Fame is. You
you all made a compelling case. I actually thought someone was going to oppose this. I thought someone was going to say something different, to be honest. So that's what made it kind of hard on the debate. But I'll say that I agree with all of you. I agree that Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. And I think it was Big B who said it best. He probably won just on the fact that he had a point. It'd be between him and Sarge because, like Sarge said, he had 3 MVPs before all of this happened. That already says a lot about him. But Big B also pointed out that taking performance-enhancing drugs, you all of a sudden are not going to go from a guy who's hitting under 200 to a guy hitting over 300. It's not going to happen if you make yourself bigger and stronger. That's not going to help you hit the ball. So if you can hit the ball, you can hit the ball no matter if you're a scrawny guy or you're taking steroids and making yourself bigger. It would have been between Big B and Sarge as far as the points. You guys made good points. By the way, I think something that someone was alluding to was the number of intentional walks in a year.
Yep.
So we have how many games a year? 162 games a year. There was one year that Barry Bonds was intentionally walked 181 times.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
and 1 year, didn't he eclipse like 230 some walks in 1 year?
230 some walks.
Yeah.
I forget what year it was, but they were talking about his on-base percentage in that year. And again, steroids or not doesn't really matter because just his on-base percentage alone, that year, his on-base percentage was .511.
Yeah.
That means his off-base percentage is .489.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, you don't see those numbers these days.
No.
Nobody hits for a high average that can hit the ball as well. You either hit a home run or you strike out 200 times. Like, that's today's game. Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he does make it in tomorrow. Roger Clemens, to me, is another story. And I know we've talked a lot about baseball tonight, but I think that it's what we need for tonight because of what's happening tomorrow. But I'll say that to me, Roger Clemens is different. Roger Clemens went from Roger Clemens went from I gotta remember the year right, but it's when he went to Toronto. The year before he went to Toronto, he only won 9 games the year before. Then he goes to Toronto at 40 years old and is all of a sudden a Cy Young candidate and winning 22 games a year after the age of 40. I mean, obviously there was something there. That one that's a little different for me. Like, you guys agree? Mm-hmm. Am I off on that? Like, he obviously made this huge jump afterwards. I'm not saying it made him a better pitcher than what he was, but just there was something there, something different after he went to the Blue Jays.
I see where you're getting at. I mean, one, we would have to look to see what Boston did that year before he went to Toronto, or was that Yankees? No, that was Toronto or Boston.
Yeah,
Boston.
So we would have to look to see what Boston looked like that year that he only won 9 games. How many games did he miss? I mean, I get your point, though, J-Mac. I mean, he went to Toronto. All of a sudden, you rebound to MVP, Cy Young status. You go to Houston. You do the same thing. I mean, I get what you're saying, but, I mean, you still look at that beforehand. I mean, I think he's the only guy to strike out 20 in a game. He's got the World Series rings. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on him, but I still think Clemens should get in. But I would look at that season that you talked about that he only won 9 games and find out what the team looked like and what their record was and stuff like that. So,
I mean, it's true. You're not making a point that I haven't thought of.
I don't know. Sure. It's not like it hasn't been done before. I mean, even recently, you can look at the White Sox. Lucas Giolito, he was terrible, worst pitcher in the league, and then the next series, 15 to 17 game winner, Cy Young candidate. So it's not unheard of.
Or not Kirk Gibson.
It's not unheard of.
Kyle Gibson for the Rangers. I mean, he was below average, and all of a sudden, this year was Cy Young candidate for most of the year. So
I mean,
happens.
you guys make good points. I'm not disagreeing with your point.
No, I get it.
I'll say this: if based strictly on the numbers for both of those guys, they both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I won't argue that with anybody.
Yep.
They both deserve to be in the Hall of
My
Fame.
numbers.
Now, if you are strictly talking about the kind of people that they were and the kind of personalities that they have, they should never be in the Hall of Fame because Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are two of the biggest assholes in Major League history, and we all know that.
Yeah, heard a lot of rumors.
But Sarge, what do you got to say on the subject?
Oh, go ahead.
I did look up his stats back. It was like in '94 when he won the 9 games. He actually did it twice with the Boston Red Sox. But the thing is, he still had 24 starts, and he still had a winning record. His ERA was still below 3 during that time. It reminded me a lot of Felix Hernandez when he was with the Mariners, because if Felix Hernandez was not with the Mariners, he would have better numbers.
You can even throw Chris Sale when he was with the White Sox had those kind of numbers.
Yeah, because Felix won a Cy Young with a losing record, I believe, or something like that, if I can remember right. I mean, like, it depends what team he's on. But I'm just looking at the numbers, and I mean, he was pretty dominant when he was with Boston as well. So put him in.
Yep.
And another thing is Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were allegedly tied to steroids. It has never been proven.
Which was going to be the last point I was going to bring up about baseball before we go on to our next segment. The only other thing I was going to say is it's the difference for me that the two were only alleged to steroids and human growth hormone. Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez got caught and suspended for steroids. Both of them.
It's not like McGuire when he got caught with the stuff right in his locker when he's doing an interview.
But that stuff wasn't illegal at that time. That creatine? Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's different. But my only point is that those two were alleged, and then you had guys like Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez that both got caught with it and suspended. So they both should not make the Hall of Fame based on the fact that, yes, they got caught. They don't deserve that.
Sammy Sosa?
I was just going to bring up that name.
So Sosa doesn't even belong. It's not even close to the Hall of Fame. I mean,
I agree.
Alex Rodriguez got caught twice.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. He did. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but Manny Ramirez got caught twice. The second time, he just said, I'm hurt. I can't play. So he went on the disabled list to avoid a suspension. A lot of people don't know that about Manny Ramirez, but it happened.
It probably happens in sports a lot.
So speaking of Sammy, Sarge and Dave, you guys said he doesn't belong. I mean, again, what would be the reason why not to put him in?
He got caught with a corked bat.
There's that, and he hasn't really had impressive numbers like beforehand either. Like after he had like 2 or 3 years that he excelled, like in the 1998, he had a couple of good years like that. Then he never did anything after that. He was just an average player.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm personally on the fence with Sammy because, like you said, Sarge, he only had those few good years that him and McGuire were battling back and forth, with the home run race. And I think Sosa's the first and only player to hit 54 or 5 consecutive years or something like that.
He hit 60, 3 times. He was the only one to do that, I believe.
So I mean, again, Sosa's one of those where I wouldn't be mad if he got in. I mean, I am not going to be upset if he doesn't get in, but I mean, I get your point, Sarge.
Yeah.
If Sosa gets in, put Jose Canseco in.
Well, Jose Canseco is the one that busted everybody in his book, and he's the ringleader behind all this. So
yeah,
he's a whistleblower.
Yes, he is. He's the reason whistleblower laws exist, I believe. Because he needed protection big time. I think he went into witness protection after he put that book out.
He should
Oh,
have
he
gone in
did?
right after he dated
I
Madonna.
think I honestly think he wouldn't coach in the minor leagues, and I think he still is, or
Yeah.
independent ball or something. So
Yeah, the
Something.
biggest thing that brings to my attention about Sammy Sosa, I just want to kind of go back to that, is I believe it was 2018. He had an interview, and his words was, "I never tested positive in this country."
In this country.
In
Yeah.
this country.
I never
That's the
caught
key
that one.
word.
Yeah, I remember
think it was
that.
like an E60 thing. I think it was an ESPN show or something like that.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're juicing.
Yeah.
Oh, he most likely was. I mean, not gonna argue that.
That's like pleading the fifth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the baseball talk tonight, guys, but it's time for a little bit of therapy.
All right.
Need a little bit of therapy. So, over the weekend, some teams lost in the NFL. I have probably seen every Rodgers joke in the book this weekend.
I
But
probably sent most of them to you.
probably. But here's the thing here's the only thing I'm going to say on this. Everyone's like, how can you love the Packers but hate Rodgers? I don't hate Rodgers, for one. Let me say that.
Yeah.
And two, I have to look at the facts. When someone sends me something that says Nick Foles has as many Super Bowl titles, Super Bowl MVPs as Aaron Rodgers does, touche. Like, I don't. What do you want my rebuttal to be for that? Because you're not
You're not wrong.
wrong. Like, you're not
Yeah.
wrong.
But here's the thing, though. Foles only played in December when the team was already clinching.
In January.
I mean, I'm not saying Nick Foles is better than Aaron Rodgers. See, that's where everyone takes it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying when someone sends me something like that, all I can do is give them a thumbs up because they're not wrong.
Didn't Gannon get the MVP for the Raiders Super Bowl?
Gannon, yes, I believe he did.
Okay, so he's got the same amount as Rodgers.
And here was one that mess around and I talked about. People talk about Rodgers and how he doesn't throw interceptions. Okay, Favre, everyone knows, is my childhood idol.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm going to tell you, here is why I put Favre above Rodgers. Well, we talk about the number of he went to 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Even if he only won 1, he at least went to 2 back to back, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that Rodgers has only thrown X amount of interceptions versus all of Favre's, where has it gotten Green Bay in the last 17 years? 1 championship?
Right?
Does it really matter that much for those numbers is my only point on that.
Yep.
Does it really matter that much for those numbers? Because
I
you
mean-
even split it down the middle, like almost their same number of wins in the regular season for
Yep.
both of them, the same number of Super Bowls for both of them. It's just crazy. It's crazy that those numbers really don't matter much in the end. So real quick, everyone, just answer this question.
Okay.
That Bills and Chiefs game
Oh my God.
last night, was that top 3 of
I was
top
gonna say,
3 games that you've ever seen in your entire life?
Yes.
Oh
I would-
man. In all sports, or just we're talking football?
Just football.
Okay. Oh, top 3. Yeah, I would have to say so. I mean, for me, of course, the Minnesota Miracle is going to be number 1 because that was just amazing itself. I'm trying to think of another couple games I could throw up there, but yeah, that Buffalo Kansas City game. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, everybody's complaining about the overtime rule and stuff, but
Look, man,
Yeah.
someone had to win, someone had to lose. And I'm a
Yeah.
big guy that talks about the NFL overtime rules. I do think they need some sort of adjustment. I think there could be some adjustment made. I don't think
they've
that
already had adjustments, which I agree with, because it used to be first score wins, no matter what it was.
yeah.
You know,
Right, yeah.
now if it's a field goal or a safety, the other team gets a shot at it. Which I think if it's a touchdown, the other team should get a shot at it too. So I did
Right.
agree with that part, but
So
Oh.
I'm just going to throw some numbers at you, by the way, of things that I thought I'd never see in my lifetime, by the way.
Okay.
I never thought I would see two teams score 25 points in a minute 22.
Wow, that was just amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And can I say we probably said it over and over again? Man, Hill is fast. I mean,
He's quick, yeah.
He's quick.
he is quick. Yeah.
I never thought I'd see that. I never thought I would see a quarterback in the NFL throw for 231 yards after the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't
Just
realize
the
that
fourth
was
quarter.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 188 yards after the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, it's
The
insane.
Bears
wow.
And
only
I
threw
think-
for more than 188 yards in 8 games this season. It took them to week 9 to do so. That tells you how bad our quarterbacks were.
Wow.
Yeah,
Also, I think they scored 25 points within like a minute and 30, or like both teams combined 25 points in a minute and 30 seconds, something like that.
yeah, it's insane. It was an insane game.
It shows
Just
Kansas
crazy.
City's resilience. They fell behind early on.
I
in
mean,
the season, trying to
Well,
catch
that's
up.
just the school. That's just the schoolyard mentality too. I mean, they're just chucking it up there, and you know,
And you know, we got to give credit where it's due. I forget the guy's first name. Gabriel Davis for the Bills.
Oh, yeah.
Played the game
Oh, what
of
a
his life.
game.
What, 8 catches, 220 plus yards, and 4 touchdowns in a playoff game. Just
MVP of the Bills.
and he caught 6 touchdowns all year and 35 passes for 500 and some yards. Yeah,
yeah,
he almost did that in one game.
almost in one game. Like, it's insane. It was just a crazy game back and forth. And so, I mean, you go through the numbers. We could sit here and go through all the numbers, but tell me that. So I saw this earlier, and I am actually on board with this. Someone was saying that the Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen in the AFC is going to be way more exciting than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning ever was.
For
I see
sure.
that.
Those 4
Ooh.
guys.
As long as they all
Oh.
stay injury free and healthy throughout their career, yeah.
But again, you got 2 quarterbacks that weren't really mobile, putting up numbers, and now you got 4 guys that are very mobile that are putting up numbers. So yeah, of course they're going to be more exciting because are they going to run or are they going to pass? Where when it came to Manning and Brady, it was just like, okay, they're in the pocket, they're going to roll out here and there, but they're not going to run for a 10-yard scamper if need be. They're going to throw it away. So,
I mean, I get that. I get that, but
Yeah.
that is what makes them more exciting. And
oh yeah,
To be
no,
honest.
trust me. I mean, outside of for my Vikings to have a quarterback situation like the Packers have, where you go from one Hall of Fame to another Hall of Fame, I want a running quarterback. I mean, I want a Mahomes type guy, a Jared or Josh Allen type guy. I don't like the guys that sit back in the pocket, especially if you got an offensive line that can't block. You need a running quarterback.
no doubt.
But just think of this:
So
if Mahomes makes it to another Super Bowl, that's 3 Super Bowls in 3 years,
Yep.
and you won one of them already.
Right?
still above the Panthers, Bills, and Vikings.
Yeah. Now, I saw a question posted on Facebook, and I don't know if anybody else saw it. Somebody put out there, what if Mahomes makes the Super Bowl this year? How much more does he have to do to pass
Who
Tom
cares?
Brady?
Who cares?
I
Right.
think he already has.
Sorry.
I
This
think
is
he
so.
already has.
This you guys found a. I don't know what you call it, but I hate it when people do that. I hate all the comparisons. It drives me nuts in sports. Why does he have to be compared to Brady? Why does he have to be the next Brady, the next Manning?
Yep.
How about him being the first Pat Mahomes?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
because Brady didn't win the championships. That's all I'm saying. Ooh.
I mean,
It's not Brady. It's a team.
Last
If it was golf,
I agree. We talked about this on the sports compound. I agree with what Sarge said. It's not Brady did win him on his own. His team helped him. He didn't do it everything. I mean, you had like David Tyree insane catch on the helmet. You got the defense setting him up in short fields, and
Well,
yeah, it's true.
no, I'm with J-Mac. I can't stand, this guy, what's this guy got to do to be this guy? And, just like, everybody talks about the GOAT. I mean, we all agree that there's one GOAT. It's Wayne Gretzky.
Why do you always do that?
Because you take away half his stats, he still leads the all-time record. So, but, I mean, I think it was Adam that posted the true thing. If you want to do GOATs, then you got to break it down by era.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we
Agree.
can sit here and talk about it all we want, but honestly,
Yep.
LeBron will never be Michael Jordan. He will never be our generation's Michael Jordan ever. He
No.
won't. He just won't.
No, because LeBron never had to play the Pistons when Isaiah Thomas was there. Where were they called? I forget what they called themselves, but
Bad boys.
bad boys.
yeah, the Bad Boys. He never played against
Yeah.
Rodman.
But more than that, Sarge, for me, okay, LeBron is called the greatest by the new generation that watches the NBA because
Yeah.
they never saw Michael Jordan play. We
And
saw
that's
Jordan play.
that's fine. Yeah.
So to us, no one will ever compare to Michael Jordan because we watched him play.
Well, that in the fouls that they're calling flagrants and flagrant twos now, that's just a hard foul back when
Yeah,
Jordan-
exactly. That's why it's a different era.
Yeah.
I mean,
and people should
If LeBron did what he did in Cleveland and not go elsewhere, then I can hear arguments. But Jordan did it in
With
Chicago, with Chicago, and that was it. I mean, they brought in what, maybe two significant free agents. Outside of that, the team was drafted by the Bulls. I mean, Rodman and Kukoc, possibly the only two they brought in.
I got a
Kukoc is
joke,
drafted.
I have a joke.
Oh,
But
yeah, you're right. He was drafted. You're right.
So before you get to your joke, Sarge, I just got to say, by the way, they didn't do that back in the day. They did not. Back in Jordan's day, there wasn't going to be a super team. You wanted to win it on your own.
Unless you got drafted together.
The most famous one that I can even remember is they were talking to Reggie Miller, who we know is, for me, a top 15 player of all time, and Reggie Miller. And they said, if Michael would have called you and said, leave the Pacers this year and come play with me in Chicago, what would you have told him?
Go fuck yourself.
He said, my answer would have been, go fuck yourself. I'll see you in October when you drive the 90 minutes to come, and then I'll kick your ass on the court. Like, that's what he would have said.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say the closest super team we had back in that day was probably the beginning of the Spurs run with Davison, Duncan, and Ginobili.
No,
Right.
I think you got to go back to the Showtime Lakers.
Oh yeah,
That team was stacked.
That's
yeah.
true.
I can see that. You're right, Dave. That's why we got you on here.
All right, Sarge, give us your joke, man.
Well, first we got a question for Crispy Bacon over here. So they're wondering if you're a
Okay.
Jet fan.
That
No.
was a good shirt.
It's actually
Even
fair.
worse.
He's a Cowboy
it's a
fan.
Josh. I am a Cowboy fan, but I'm wearing a Stars
Yeah,
shirt.
so-
shirt.
Yeah. So LeBron James, he calls. If you watch the sports compound, you probably already know this, but this could be for our viewers also. So LeBron James calls Michael Jordan, and every time he calls him, the phone rings 6 times, and then Michael Jordan answers it. Then LeBron's like, Jordan, why do you always let it ring 6 times? And then you pick up afterwards. Jordan replies, just to remind you how many rings I have.
It was funny then. It's funny now.
That's a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
respectable.
I have 6 rings. That's why I let it ring 6 times.
All right. So before we end the show here, I got a couple of jokes, NFL jokes maybe. I just want to run through real quick. This is probably the funniest one of the weekend that I saw. It was next time my girl says 13 seconds isn't long enough. I'm gonna show her a picture of Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
Pat Mahomes led a comeback in less time than the Cowboys took to attempt one running play.
It's true.
A man shouts to his wife, "Come here and look at my clock."
Oh, God.
She walks in to find him naked with a heart on. She says, "That's not a clock." He's like, "Well, when your two hands and your face is on it, it will be." Oh man,
great.
it's great. We needed some laughter, but with that said,
I say some of we should try that with that last joke on our significant other, see where it gets us.
it's probably not going to be a good one. No,
No, probably not.
probably
I'll
not.
see you guys in the next afterlife.
Right?
I don't need to say it. I say enough crap to my wife.
Right. Right. Have I ever told you guys at the time that I was trying to be funny and she walked in and I was like, "Yeah, I was gonna get you some contacts, change the color of your eyes, but what color are your eyes?"
You're on the couch.
I'll tell you that was not the wisest thing I've ever said.
Right.
If you go to the couch, it'd be like camping, so I'm okay with it.
Sometimes. All right. We're gonna go around the room, give everyone 30 seconds. Tell us whatever you want to tell us. We'll start with mess around. What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. I had a lot of fun today doing all the shows I did. Really enjoyed being on the sports compound today. And that was fun. Didn't really know where to go when Sarge froze because I've never been on the show and didn't know what he talked about. So I was trying to keep going. And then he popped back out. I'm like, oh, thank God. But yeah, good times.
Good old connections. Gotta love it.
All right. Big P.
All right, first off, I got to give props. I know we picked on our significant other quite a bit, which is always fun, but got to give it to my wife. The last 2 days, she's actually let me sleep, and she's actually snow plowed and shoveled the driveway the last 2 nights. So props to her. Good job. Outside of that, Tuesday, we are going to have a special Hall of Fame edition of On Deck, and we're also going to have former MLB umpire Dale Scott, who lives in Eugene, Oregon. So he was glad to come on the show and talk about his career and possibly get his thoughts on the MLB Hall of Fame.
Hey, if you're asking one question, ask him what we talked about in the compound, what he thinks about robots possibly taking over.
I was actually going to ask him that question. So
Are they
I got a
actually
list
have
of
like
questions.
little arms like at batting cages that throw to the pitchers?
Please, that's a show for another day. I don't really want to talk about robots. No. Chris.
Yes. Yeah, we got On Deck tomorrow, very special edition. We also have Tuesday Night Mania, and just check out Coast to Coast for all of our shows.
All right, and Sarge.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. It was great. I just want to say thank you for messing around coming on to the sports compound earlier today. I do apologize with the technical difficulties. My internet got slow and I disappeared, but it made it for a good show. But
It
definitely hang around with Coast to Coast. Good things are happening. New shows are coming. One just happened earlier tonight. And just keep on watching, share, comment, and we like to interact with you also. Thank you.
All right. And Christy jumping on at the last minute there. We say hi to Christy. You can catch her on Between the Ropes on Sunday. I know that. She might be on something else, and I apologize if I missed something, but I know she's on Between the Ropes. So
we need to get her our own show is what we need to do.
yeah, we do. We do. All right. And we thank you for being here tonight. J-Mac the Bearded One for Sarge, Crispy Bacon, Double Dirty Big B, Mess Around, Dave. We will see you all tomorrow for the Hall of Fame announcement. and we're looking forward to seeing you again. We will see you all on the other side.